Richie, big one on Saturday. Brentford going well, 3 wins and a spin, but I think indicative of this league, they'd lost the previous 3 games.
Yeah, I didn't know that until a couple of days ago. I'd read that myself, that 3 defeats and then 3 wins. So, like you say, it just pretty much sums this division up, really. And you look how tight it is. Yes, the top 2 or 3 are a little bit ahead at the moment, but from then on, there's hardly a point in it after that. So it does show you how tight the league is, and it does show you that if you're in a rich vein of form, you've got to capitalise on it, and if you're not, like Brentford weren't, you need to turn it around pretty quickly, and then they have done and ended up with 9 points out of 9.
Unusual for us to go into a game on the back of 2 league defeats. What have we got to do on Saturday, do you think, that we haven't done in the last 2 games to make the difference?
Well, I think if we split the 2 games up, we need to make sure we don't make the mistakes we made against Port Vale. So obviously, making sure that we limit the number of chances. And then you look at the Stevenage game, and actually if we play like we did against Stevenage, all we need to do is then finish off the chances we've created. And it sounds easy, but obviously it's not. If it was easy, we'd all be doing it. So, but yeah, they're the two 18-yard boxes are predominantly what's let us down over the last 2 games. The football against Stevenage was actually really good. So we're not a million miles away, and we need to be careful that we don't.
There's no need to overreact at all.
No, and we've watched the DVD between us, must be half a dozen times between the staff this week, and we've all come back with the same answer. So it's not a major issue, but obviously we do get judged on results.
Big contrasting styles, I suggest, from last Saturday to this Saturday. But I mean, against the sides who are up there this season, we've got a pretty decent record, haven't we?
We have.
Thinking of Bradford in particular, who came down here when they were 4th, weren't they?
I think. It suits us when we're not expected to win the game. I don't know if we handle the
favourites tag.
Yeah, the tag of being favourites for the game very well, and we've done okay, touch wood, recently against sort of top 6, top 7 teams. So, but that doesn't mean that we can just turn up and assume that we're going to do the same. I'd have to say Brentford, I would say, in terms of squad, will be up there with Peterborough and Wolves. Very, very, very strong squad. Their substitutes would probably get in most League One teams. So a very good team. They've got a bit of everything. They can mix it, but they can play. Mixture of experience and youth as well. So I would expect Brentford to be there or thereabouts. So it is going to be a real test.
In terms of our own squad, what's the latest with Billy Clark?
We're hoping that he's going to do some work on the training ground today. Not with us, pretty much by himself, but with a view to him training tomorrow. But we've had another couple of scans throughout the week, which is predominantly to just reiterate what we already thought.
It's bone bruising, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a bit of bone bruising, but there was also just a few more fibres in his ligament that had been torn more than we thought, really. So, but we're not far off a month now from him. So, we'd be expecting that he'd be starting to, like I say, hopefully train tomorrow, with a view to being involved in next week's game.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but with bone bruising, it's just rest, really, isn't it? That's all you can do. It's not really something you can treat.
No, the ligament can be treated, but the bone bruising can't. And I've had conversations with people before, and they don't quite get in their head how bones can be bruised, but they can, and because they can, and they don't get very good blood supply, it can be really tough to treat them. So, unfortunately, it's just one of those things, and we have to be thankful that we've got a pretty good history in terms of injuries, and also the fact at the minute we've only got one of them missing, and if that would stay the same, then we can just about manage.
Start of a big month. I mean, we've got the game on Saturday, and of course it's a quick turnaround to Tuesday night down at Bristol City. Aside, we probably dare take to say it, but we might be meeting them at the wrong time as well, because they've just started to pick up, haven't they?
They have, and I did say a couple of weeks ago, I don't think that Sheffield United and Bristol City, and this is no disrespect to anybody else who's down there, but Bristol City and Sheffield United, I can't see them being down there. The players that they've got are far too good. So, and I watched a DVD this week, coincidentally, with Brentford versus Bristol City, to try and get information on both of them, and Bristol City played pretty well against them, so that won't be easy either, and it'll be one of the toughest games that you've played against in terms of a team in the bottom 4, because they're a very good side. So and a tough place to go, and obviously a big ground, a big club. So it's a tough month coming up.
Just spoken to a few of the players around the camp this week. It's a real sort of determination, I sensed. We've had a couple of bad results to get back on track on Saturday.
That's important, the mindset, and there is a determination.
No player likes losing, do they?
No, we know we're all. There's a real competitive edge. No, certainly managers don't. But obviously, people underestimate how competitive footballers can be, and actually, losing is something that most footballers don't like doing. So, and they've set themselves a real high standard here over the last year, 18 months. So, we need to make sure that continues. But there is we just need to change the mindset a little bit of, 6-7 days ago we were talking about 7 unbeaten, and now a couple of back-to-back defeats. We need to get back to that feeling of not being able to be beat.